we have selected to construct an abattoir at Hope and one at Kendall. The division has gone into stakeholders meetings as it relates to the abattoir at Hope. We had a public consultation, and we also had a technical consultation, meeting of technical people as, to decide on technical issues where abattoir operations and construction is concerned. At Kendall, we would have had one consultation, and there is a need for another. And that next consultation will take place in the next 2 weeks in the area of Argyle. This abattoir will cost the division, as a matter of fact, let me just indicate to you, let me thank the Executive Council for approving the sum of $26.48 million to the construction of these two abattoirs. The abattoirs will have a leverage area. That's an area that we have, that's the initial stage of the process at the abattoir, where we have the animals distressed, and we have them looked at for any signs that may indicate that the animal may be of some, there may be some ill health where the animal is concerned. There is also going to be the area where you call the kill area, and this abattoir will be outfitted with rails that will have the animals properly examined by the health officer and the veterinary specialist. And from there, we will there will also be what we consider the chilling area, where the meats are taken to be cold storage then. These abattoirs were necessary, as in the case of the Scarborough abattoir, because of space constraint and the age of the building and the immense repair. However, the abattoir at Kendall became necessary because in that general area, most of the livestock are produced. And we had selected Kendall as the preferred area. It is expected that we should start construction sometime later down in the actual construction. However, there is a design stages that needs to be done, and EATCUT will be our project managers as it relates to design and construction. So that's it about the abattoir. Now, I would have made reference to a packing house at the old Juicy factory. Because of our drive towards increased production in food crop on the island, it is necessary that we have somewhere that can treat with the food in a way that the shelf life of that food can be extended, and the food can be properly stored under required temperatures. As we speak, the shell of the building is completed, and we are moving on now to have the processing chain developed. We operational lines then, and together with conveyor belts that will move the food around where we can separate them where it can be separated and treated in a way that we can suffice the restaurants and hotels and even the vendors with seafood. We would have had 2 consultations on the packing house to date. One was held with the farmers, and another was done with the restaurants and the hoteliers. There is another consultation which will take place Thursday of next week, whereby we will be consulting with the vendors. That is in a way to assist us in the best way that we can operationalize that facility. It's a facility that is much needed. It can assist us greatly with local business activities where the farmers are concerned and the other processors on the island, and also can be a stepping stone to international trading. So with that said, the packing house, the shell would have cost some $1.4 million, and to outfit it with all the air-conditioned systems and the conveyor belts will cost us close to $2 million. I want to take you to a project that we are going to be undertaking, which is called the desilting of rivers and watercourses. Now, this year we would have experienced a very harsh dry season, and a lot of bushfires would have taken over the landscape Tobago. And with that, it would have left the ground stripped. And with that kind of situation coming to bear on the ecology of the island, we will experience a lot of siltation in the rivers. There will be a lot of debris, bamboos, tree trunks, and other stuff that will get down into the water course. You know that our water courses are very important. It's important for flora and fauna. It's also important for the livelihood of animals. Human beings use it as for recreational purposes, like waterfalls and all of these things. Our tourism sector is touched by these watercourses. And with that, we have decided, and let me say thanks again to the Executive Council for giving us a sum of $5 million to treat with this exercise, and it will take us throughout Tobago. We'll start from Mount St. George all the way up to Goldsboro, Goodwood, Belgarden, Roxborough. Well, the Roxborough River always poses tremendous problems to human life. And we have taken a proactive step towards ensuring that these watercourses are desilted and clean so that there would not be obstructions so as to cause flooding in many areas along the way. Let me also, the program also extends to Lowido, Speyside, Kings Bay, Speyside in the scheme area, and across at Speyside High School. We also have Charlottesville, Manager River. We also have the Bloody Bay River, where we have a lot of farmers doing cultivation in that area, and we need to ensure that they do not suffer great damage of the crops. So we have to try our best to desilt and create that volume there for the flow, for the water flow. There are other areas that would be dealt with. Crooks River right at Scarborough here is an area that we must have the mouth of the river cleared so that we not have any backup and create any flooding back up on Carrington Street. So we are approaching those as important areas so that we will alleviate that damage that could emanate from the floodings that do occur. We are also privileged to, I am also privileged to say to you all that we will continue our agricultural access road upgrade and improvement because our farmers need to take their planting materials in and to also take out the produce. And this is one area that we must take strong consideration of so as to assist farmers in producing more food for the island. Because the division's mantra is to create food security, to help assist in creating food security for Tobago. And by this, we have our incentive programs that we support farmers financially, and we also have our technical support coming from our extension workers. We also try our best to have mechanical services offered to the farmers so as to prepare their lands for cultivation. With that said, we are going to do work in the Mount St. George area, that area at Goldwood, Goldsboro, Belgarden, you know, a lot of food is planted in that area. So we want to ensure that our farmers have access to their farming plots. We also will do work in Charlottesville, Speyside, where access road improvement and upgrade is concerned. We also will do some work across at Palatovere, Bloody Bay. And that is just to name a few of the areas. Ladies and gentlemen, within recent times, our tissue culture lab has been playing a magnificent role in producing planting material for the farmers. We have been doing production in plantlets, in dasheen plants, and we also are doing banana and plantain suckers. However, we distributed some 3,000 dasheen plants to the Edwards out at Bloody Bay. They are doing magnificent out there. We would have also assisted them in developing the ponds to plant the dashing into, the water ponds. And that is a system of planting that has had the farmer producing what we consider dashing bush for your callaloo and other things. So I want to say to you all that the tissue culture lab is really doing fine, and we expect thousands of plants coming out of that tissue culture lab so that we can assist farmers. They will purchase the plants at a reduced cost, as a subsidized cost, and our main objective is to have farmers produce in great quantities throughout Tobago.
I recall at my last time I was here at Post Executive Council Media Review, that I was pleased to announce the Milshov ruling and its implications for Tobago's development. I think all of Tobago, we were heartened at the ruling and the possibilities and the potential for Tobago's development as we, in the Assembly, as we seek to roll out our development program agenda. However, last week, you might have heard that the Attorney General has filed an appeal in this matter. A number of things must be taken into consideration with respect to the appeal by the Attorney General. One is the timing. If you recall, when this matter first came to the fore, we were on the heels of the Tobago House of Assembly election. And we trust that this matter would have been settled and dealt with by the ruling of Judge Budi Singh. But now we're seeing again that the Attorney General, in his wisdom, has decided to file an appeal on the judge's ruling. The second thing we have to consider is the implication for Tobago's development. Last year, between the period leading up to the budget as well as before the national budget, I would have mentioned that in our last meeting with the Minister of Finance that he's on record giving support to the Tobago House of Assembly to enter into both type arrangements or public-private partnerships. I was also on record outlining the approval granted by the Executive Council for the Tobago House of Assembly to engage in public-private partnerships as a modality to accelerate Tobago's development. So the timing and the potential to stymie Tobago's development with respect to the appeal by the Attorney General is of great concern to us in the administration. And what this does, it really puts our development at risk. However, we are fairly confident again that the Assembly will have a positive outcome with respect to the appeal. And this also brings to bear what is happening now in the context of the deliberations and discussions with stakeholders with respect to Tobago's quest for greater internal self-government and greater autonomy, and the issue with respect to borrowing and our right to borrow to fund development program comes to the fore even as we see the appeal by the Attorney General. So in that context, we will await work continues apace in the Division of Agriculture Marine Affairs on that project, and we await the outcome. However, we are not going to stop our preparation with respect to the rollout of a public-private partnership unit and all the other mechanisms and foundations to move forward using public-private partnerships as a funding mechanism to accelerate Tobago's development. Additionally, I think it was last month, the Auditor General's report came out and it pointed to a number of glaring deficiencies in ministries in Trinidad. What I note was the response of the Minister of Finance, and in terms of meeting with his permanent secretaries and placing the responsibilities with the permanent secretaries and having a meeting with them to treat with the situation. In the Tobago context, you might recall a couple years ago that this issue with respect to the Auditor General's report came to the fore, and we treated with the matter then. But there's a perennial problem that we have to treat with, and as Secretary of Finance, I want to assure the people of Tobago that we are in fact treating with those issues from previous Auditor General's report, and we are working on mechanisms to solve those issues. In the next month, in the next upcoming weeks, we'll be meeting with all administrators, really convening a meeting soon to seek to improve our financial reporting infrastructure, and you'll hear more about it in the budget debate. But in the upcoming weeks, I'll be reporting to you as how we in the Assembly propose to treat with these issues. I'm also pleased to announce that June 23rd is Budget Day for the Tobago House of Assembly, and as Secretary of Finance and Enterprise Development and Secretary with responsibility for the budget preparation, I shall be reading this administration's proposed budget for the 2014-2015 financial year at the Assembly's chamber. Last year, in my first budget, which was entitled Responding to the People's Mandate, we presented a budget which not only kept faith with the policies and programs which received the overwhelming mandate of the people of Tobago in the elections of January 2013, but was also guided by the Comprehensive Economic Development Plan for Tobago 2.0. You may recall that in my first budget, I presented a total package of $4.95 billion. Well, at this moment, I can't see what the numbers will be. But in keeping with our commitment to always truthfully reflect the people's mandate, the budget which will be presented was formulated based on a number of individual consultations, a special survey of the Tobago population, in which information gleaned reflected not just the economic aspirations, but also what measures Tobagonians felt were needed to address their most pressing economic concerns. The survey was a novel approach to the usual pre-budget consultation process engaging industry and NGO leaders, which we normally have in a formal setting, but which we felt did not truly give access, for a variety of reasons, to the wider range of voices in Tobago. The survey was done to get access to the views of that wide cross-section of the Tobago population, and having achieved that objective, we set to work on a document which could address those views. I am pleased to report that preparations for the budget are well advanced, and the budget document is substantially complete, with only minor adjustments now needed. The document will keep faith with our aspirations for the sustainable development of Tobago and demonstrate that we are in fact working towards the achievement of our goals. Without wanting to get too much into the document, I believe that you'll be pleasantly surprised by the accomplishments of the Tobago House of Assembly, especially when compared to the stagnation being experienced in economies regionally and internationally. The budget will show that the Tobago House of Assembly administration has been able to weather the economic storms with quite positive indicators of where we wish to take the people and the economy of Tobago. As we all know and we are well aware, the Assembly faces a perennial problem of a lack of funding for its development program, but after carefully studying the matter, the budget will detail the steps we are taking to address this issue. The budget is being presented against a backdrop of uncertainty in the foreign exchange market, which has peculiar inflationary implications for Tobago, which we will need to address. There's also a period of economic uncertainty if one is to judge by the reports of the World Bank, but also from the business community, both locally and in Trinidad. The upcoming budget sets a tone with an examination of the environment which we are attempting to navigate, taking into consideration the political and legal constraints that are being placed on our operations. This will be addressed in some detail in the presentation on June 23rd. In the last budget document, I reported on problems in accessing the relevant data on Tobago's economic development and the problems this poses for planning. We recognize that this is a national problem to which even the International Monetary Fund has alluded. The Tobago House of Assembly has taken the necessary steps to address this pressing issue in a fundamental way that will be a pleasant surprise to the people of Tobago and even Trinidad. We also outline significant steps that have been taken in the manufacturing sector, financial services sector, transportation, and in the diversification of the Tobago economy, which is the main goal of our roadmap and planning document, the CDP. The foundation for this, as we all know, has been laid in the Cove, and the document will provide an update on the developments at the Cove Eco-Industrial and Business Park, on which Tobago has invested so much. The 2015 budget is premised on certain issues that have been identified as being important to the people of Tobago. These include fiscal and corporate governance and ensuring value for money in public expenditure, funding adequacies arising from our relationship with the central government, the continued diversification of the Tobago economy, and most importantly, ensuring that people remain at the center of our development. This budget is being presented against the background of Tobago's aspirations for full internal self-government, which has a political aspect but also assumes the achievement of certain economic fundamentals. We'll be treating with these when the budget is presented. I am sure I have given you a full insight into our plans because we want to have greater involvement of people of Tobago in contributing to and being involved in the annual financial planning exercise. This briefing represents our way of supporting greater collaboration with you, the media, and through you with the people of Tobago and Trinidad who have a vested interest in Tobago and its development. As we prepare to put the finishing touches on the budget document, I wish also that when you examine the documents, you'll take note how closely we have kept faith with these objectives that are close to the aspirations and the mandate of our people. I also wish you a happy Corpus Christi and Labor Day holidays. As Secretary of Finance and Enterprise Development, while I understand the complaints of the business community in Trinidad about the disadvantages of long weekends, I can assure you that they bring tremendous benefits to the Tobago economy and contribute greatly to enhancing the quality of life for families who need time together